Welcome to my channel, friends. Hello, everyone. The balance of giving and receiving opens your path. Today, I want to share a topic with you. It's a very critical topic because we aim to change your life. In this video, what is the balance of giving and receiving? It summarizes all your experiences. It also summarizes many events. The balance of giving and receiving lacks. How is it lacking? Some people are incredibly generous. In a relationship, for example, my teacher, what do you say? I swept my hair for them, showed a lot of interest, gave my love, and offered my affection. I gave everything, my time, my energy. But what did I get in return? Just infidelity, just bad behaviors. And when we broke up, they insulted me, cursed at me, and left. Where did I go wrong? Let's start quickly from here. You made a huge mistake in the balance of giving and receiving. My dear, it's not just a mistake. You did something horrifying because you disrupted the balance of giving and receiving. You disrupted the balance in your own life. And when you disrupt the balance of giving and receiving, there will be nothing in your life. Let me tell you that. When you constantly enter a state of love hunger and show a person constant love, affection, and interest, that person will rise here, will settle there, and will never come down from there. You will carry them on your shoulders and above your head for a lifetime. So why can't we establish this balance? Because we are not taught these lessons. The balance of giving and receiving is not addressed in education. There is also the opposite side of this. There are those who constantly try to take. They do not give anything. They always want everything to be theirs, but only theirs, only their benefit. This is clearly a narcissistic personality disorder. Everything should work only for me. Everyone should work for me. Everyone should serve me. Everyone should act, live, look, and do only in my favor. So there is a mindset that everything should be about me. I think this is even worse. It's really bad. For example, I see this a lot in my profession. Like what? Look, I provide consulting. I have worked with many people, have written books. I have 10 books. One of them is here, Devil's Feather. Devil's Feather also describes narcissistic personality disorder. It is a book about a narcissistic man. It also writes about the alphas in the male world, as well as the men who progress positively. It is a book that narrates the adventures of these men, Devil's Feather. And there is a Mert Adelaide in this book who says everything should be mine, and everyone should serve me. A Mert Adelaide who, well, I won't explain, you'll read it. This Mert Adelaide believes the whole world revolves around him, completely. Everyone serves him. Everyone will serve him. Why? This man became like this. I wrote about that. Why do these men grow up this way? I covered that. There are issues related to his mother. Therefore, Devil's Feather will completely help those who are curious about these topics. So, why do some people always want to take? How does it happen to me? Let me explain. For example, instead of getting a session, instead of getting one-on-one counseling, they say, "Oh, teacher, just help me out." They say, "Oh, teacher, why are you doing this for a fee? Help us, don't charge us." For example, that's how I see it. What do you mean? What kind of offer is this? What is this? Are we living for free? What kind of mindset is this? There are those who think everything should be free. For example, they say, "I'm going to make a very critical decision about my life, but why is it paid?" They send questions through the app from Adil Sword. But why am I paying a fee? Why should it be free? Everything should be free. Birds, insects, food, drink, water, everything should be free. I don't want to pay for anything. Everything should be free for me, and so on. They are actually insulting the person in front of them. They say, "I want a service, but there is no compensation for it." Let me share a secret with you, friends. Let me give you a secret of the universe. Nothing is without a return. Nothing is without a return. This includes everything. You can't show me anything that is without a return? We had this discussion with my friends the other day. He said, "No, I can refute this." I said, "Refute it with maternal love." He said, "No, shared love." I said, "No, it's not. Mutual. It's mutual." He thought and thought before waiting for my answer because he is quite intelligent. "Oh yes," he said, "you're right. It's mutual." Whether it's a mother or a father, when they raise their child, they do so hoping that the child will look after them in the future. They raise them so that they will be by their side when they are sick and not leave them alone. And most importantly, when they cannot find a return in these matters, they feel disappointed and sad if they cannot receive love, attention, and affection from this child, or if the child does not take care of them when they grow old, because they have an expectation. I took care of you for so many years, you will take care of me too. This is their expectation. Everything creates an expectation. In my opinion, the most beautiful aspect of the universe is that there is nothing without a return in the system of the universe. Everything has a counterpart. Let me be very clear. It can also be a material counterpart. It can also be attention, care, or love. It doesn't have to be money, but everything has a counterpart. This is human nature. When a person does good, they are a being that immediately expects a return. Therefore, they do good expecting a return. There are very generous and noble-spirited people who do a good deed without expecting anything in return. However, they are very few. They are not the people in society, meaning you cannot see them, you cannot reach them. They are noble spirits. They are sent to the world in limited numbers, to give shape to this large mass of humanity. Aside from that, everyone expects a return. They do something and expect a return. Now, in the work I do, I share friendly videos with you here. A little chat, a little like talking. You open it, you watch, and it creates a warm environment. I enjoy it, to be honest, because the energy exchange between us gives me pleasure. One of the biggest events in my life is the request for help from people, as I have helped many in their private lives, without them thinking that they owe me anything. I am talking about the people around me, like my circle of friends. For example, what does it mean to call at 11 p.m. and say, I have a very urgent matter? What level of thoughtlessness is this? Now, this incident happened to me recently. A friend who understands nothing about the balance of give and take. He understands nothing. He is a manager at a high level. He is someone I have talks with. I'm not close, but we have had tea and coffee times. He keeps calling me non-stop. What is going on? He calls saying it's very urgent. The next day I sent a message. What is the matter? You call at 11 p.m. He said, there is a very urgent matter with my boyfriend. I, with good intentions, thought he needed to understand that someone needed to teach him. I called him and said, listen to me very carefully now, because this information will be useful to you for a lifetime. And I am giving you this information selflessly. I am giving you this information because knowledge is a very valuable thing. All right, I don't want anything in return from you. But use this information in your life. Look, I told you, you have called me many times regarding your personal life, many times, and I have answered you in many of those. What was the return for this? My feelings for you, my sense of friendship, because I valued you, but each time you took something from me, you continuously diminished the help and did not build upon it. How could you have built upon this? You could have asked me about a need of mine, approached me positively about something, invited me somewhere, or suggested going out to dinner. You could have done 1,000 things because you are smart and a manager, but you thought like this: let him help me, let him help me, let him help me. I'll use him as much as I can, or maximize my use of him. But you didn't understand this. I have my limits too. So I would say to you, I stop at a certain point. I would say, no more, I won't help anymore. Because I am someone who can easily say no. I can say this very easily. Now when you do this, I understood that you have no balance of give and take. You are constantly in pursuit of taking. There is no return at all. You will always take, and I am sure you treat everyone this way, not just me. You treat your employees this way too. Nice. This also showed me this. You, a person who has reached a certain age in life, have understood nothing. You have understood absolutely nothing. You have not grasped anything from this test given to you. Stop living in vain. From now on, live your remaining time well. Therefore, if you want to ask me for something from now on, come to me with a proposal. Do me a favor. In other words, do not disrupt the balance of give and take between us, because I give as much as I take. That's how it is. I give as much as I can take. Otherwise, the friendship between us will deteriorate and it will become a meaningless relationship. It will be a relationship where one side constantly uses the other, and I am not someone who views this type of relationship as healthy. Very clear. It stayed like that. And he said, you are so right, but no one around me is telling me this. And I got into this mindset of always thinking about what I can take from people. But he said, you are so clear in what you say. Yes, you are right. And he said, I am really sorry. Then a few days later, he called me about something that would really make me very happy and said, you are asking me for this, and I will do it. I will do it right away for you. It's no problem at all. This friendship, this bond, is not a difficult thing. You will give me as much as you want from me. That's it. This is the balance of give and take. Otherwise, a relationship where I am always giving or you are always giving is not a relationship. It's just a matter of self-interest. This is a situation where one person constantly uses the other for their own benefit. That's it. That's all. Can you imagine that? After that, during the years I lived in Italy, there was a Turkish group, a group we befriended. Many of them were extremely wealthy. Children of rich families, like that. Extremely, I mean their financial situation was very good. At that time, my financial situation was not very good. I was struggling to survive, It was a period, clear and simple. Now we dine. One always pays, and he is the richest among them. He is the richest man. He keeps saying, pay it, handle it. One day I confronted him and said, President, I don't understand you or your mindset. I will try to say it politely. First of all, I said, you can't just take us out to eat and constantly insist on paying the bill for a few friends like this. You will treat us to a meal and so on. Then he went on saying, oh, so on. He is already a pretentious person. He thinks very poorly of himself. He says, I'm bad, and so on. Evil is a relative thing. We can never know how bad someone really is. Now he is saying things like this. I said, okay, you know best. After that, we started to avoid meeting with him. We said, what is this? He is using us and so on. Then in order to be friends with us, because he was left alone, the fool, he started inviting us out to meals. The balance was restored because he also needs that friendship. And constantly using us in a material sense is not right. I can give you a million examples here. People are constantly using each other. And some people are constantly staying silent about this. Why? Because I don't want to be left alone in that friendship, need his friends. Well, let me tell you, he is a valuable person to me. But if I lose him, I will be very lonely anyway. I already have a father trauma, I already have a mother trauma, and I have no friends. What can I do? He is using me, but still, he is a good person. There are people who normalize and legalize such nonsense for themselves. Don't let yourself be used because you will rot your own soul. You will burn your own soul. It loses its meaning spiritually. Don't do this injustice to yourself. I am saying this to protect you. The events and examples happening here are real life. Now, when you establish the balance of give and take in a relationship, it will be a healthy relationship. What does this mean? This means the following. For example, they always ask me, I have been flirting with a man for 2 years. Until today, I have never paid the bill. I always make my boyfriend pay. God bless. Seek refuge in God. He always pays. He always pays. The man is already working, but I am working too. Have a good salary, but I don't pay the bill. I always make him pay. There are women who constantly make their boyfriends buy them gifts, but they never buy him anything. I am surprised when I read these, because you have disrupted the balance of giving and receiving. You have ruined the relationship. If you are working, if you have a situation, buy gifts according to your own money. Occasionally offer to pay the bill. Say, I want to pay for this. Show your character. You are a charismatic woman, an attractive woman. Show this. If you constantly use the person in front of you, it will only go so far. That man has a limit too. He hasn't reached it yet, but he will, meaning it will explode at some point. Now, therefore, he will say, enough, I am tired of being used. He hasn't said it yet, but he will. Every person's limit is different. Some draw the line immediately, while others can never do it for a lifetime. They just keep accepting it. It's related to their traumas and love deprivation. For example, I am writing a book. I have 10 books. Someone messages me saying, hey teacher, how about sending me your books? Just send one of them. Oh my God. I mean, it's like saying, oh, I won't buy the book. Just send me the book for free. Very strange things. Friends, look. I will ask you something very interesting in my life. I have never accepted anything for free. I'm not saying this with incredible moralism. I don't like to create chaos. If someone has done a service or a kindness for me, I think I should reciprocate in the same or a similar way. If I can't do anything, I would go and buy a gift for them. I would say, even if I can't repay you materially, I got you this, a gift that will be useful. You can use it and remember me, etc., because everything has a counterpart. I have encountered many people in life who get a lot of things for free. They really get a lot for free. They talk a lot, negotiating for a tiny issue for 10 hours, and they feel very clever. They get it for free and say, look how skillful I am, how smart I am, how clever I am. etc. We had a friend like that. We no longer have that friend because their freeloading annoyed us. I mean, it annoyed us. Always free, always living off us, etc. It was fun up to a point, but after a while, we just let it go. We can't really deal with it. We really can't deal with such people. Now he's money obsessed. He doesn't spend money on anything. He has money, he's a very rich man, but he doesn't spend money on anything. In every matter, he always tries to get everything for free, and he is incredibly clever about it. I mean, he has trained himself for this. I can get this for free. I can get that for free. I'll go there in his car. He'll drop me off there. He'll drop me off at the metro bus. From there, I can even get the Istanbul card from him. I'll ride with that, get off from there. I'll take a taxi with this. I'll make him pay for the taxi, etc. It's like a crazy fantasy, always freeloading, constantly trying to scheme in every matter to get things for free. For years, he lived off everyone. He lived off this, he lived off that. I mean, he calculates a 5 lira meal, 5 lira. If there's a meal that costs 5 lira, he will think for 40 hours just to avoid paying it, and he succeeds. His mind works on these matters. Then an event happened to the man that forced him to part with all the money he had withheld from those people, even the money he had taken from them, which I think was about 100 times more. A trouble came upon him, but it was 100 times, meaning he lost 100 times what he hadn't given. Because the balance of giving and receiving in the universe is never disrupted. For example, giving charity is very important. Helping those in need is very important. I'm not debating giving people the value of their labor. I don't even talk about it. It's so important because that person won't forgive you. They will say, "You stole my money, you stole my labor, may you find it from your God." After that, the biggest test will come to you. And all that money you didn't want to spend will suddenly go away. Money and all those things are fleeting. Now, in general, I don't see the balance of giving and receiving in friendships, relationships, or romantic partnerships. Because in a relationship, for example, I see this in a couple. One side is always trying to dominate, whether it's the girl or the boy. One of them is dominant, okay, but it's going to be my way. I will manage everything, and so on. The person becomes dominant saying, "Teacher, I'm the boss here, according to that and that." It can be either a man or a woman. It's not very important, but one side gets used to constantly suppressing the other. They are suppressing, yes, suppressing. And the other side feels like an orphan in the relationship. It stays like this. It feels like a bastard, clear and obvious. One side has gotten used to constantly giving, always giving everything. They are constantly giving love, attention, money, providing for needs, and the relationship has started to revolve like this. In other words, the relationship is turning in a very unhealthy way. It will explode at some point. There will be an accident there. Because as I said, how far will this person's endurance go? I wonder. They keep giving, but where will it explode? Where will they say stop? They will say stop at some point. You don't need to be very smart like Einstein to understand this. They will say stop at some point. After that, there won't be a relationship or a marriage anyway. Always pay attention to the balance of give and take. Always. And ask yourself this. Ask yourself 2 questions. Have I gotten too carried away in this relationship? Am I going to give too much? Am I able to receive? Am I receiving equal attention, love? Ask. Second, am I overly dominant in the relationship? Am I pushing too much on them? Am I exploiting them? Has this turned into a colonial relationship? That's not right either. So ask yourself this. You might be doing both without realizing it. Within the structure of a relationship, you might be completely surrendering yourself to emotions, exploiting yourself in a completely illogical way. Or you might be getting exploited a lot by them. But keep asking yourself this constantly. This is self-control. Try to control yourself. What is our situation in this relationship? Am I exploiting him? Is he exploiting me? Where are we? What are we doing? Why are we doing this? Let's not make a mistake, teacher. Let's turn back from this mistake. Keep checking yourself, friends. You are alive. I love you. Always remind yourself of the balance of giving and receiving. As I conclude life, I want to say one more thing in this video. Life tests people, not with absence, but with presence. God tests people not with absence, but with presence. Let me explain what I mean. Whenever a person gains a lot of fame, whenever a person earns a lot of money, all the fame, money, everything flows towards them. The test has begun here. A very smart, intelligent person immediately understands, my test has started here. Because things are flowing towards them. Luck, fame, money, everything is flowing. Now, I have seen very smart people, people whose minds work like poison. They immediately do something like this. They say to me, big opportunities came from places I never expected. Big money came. I will use this money for other people. I will give it to those in need, or I will go and build a school, or I will do something. I will distribute a certain part of this money to people. Because this is my test, it comes to see my behavior. I wonder what I will do here. Because how will a person be tested with nothing? There is nothing. The person has 2 olives, a little cheese, and sits in a tiny place. This is a test. But wealth, fame, and incredible existence is a great test. That is where the test begins, where paper and pen are distributed. Now the test begins. There are 2 types of people with a very large flow. People who despise others, who treat their friends poorly. Who are you? Who are you? I have become something, and so on. There are friends who are flying high. They will fail the test directly. Okay. After a while, you will burn them. They have lost everything they had, because they are not doing anything for the good of anyone around them. They do nothing for any person in need, and there are such people. They are very rich, but they are of no benefit to anyone. There is a saying, they do not urinate on a wounded finger. So they are of no benefit to anyone, not even a person. They say, I don't want my money to go to anyone. This is someone who has not understood the test. And there are also those who are very smart, as I said, who build schools. They go into charitable works. They benefit people. They distribute a portion of that money to those in need. Because they say, I have to give a part of what I receive. They understand this. Their mind has the intelligence or spiritual experience to understand this as humanity, cellularly, genetically. This is also a bit about spiritual experience. It is related to feeling something, sensing the essence of things. There are also people who perceive that all the spotlight is on them with this money and fame, and that things are actually very dangerous right now. And they need to behave well. I read in an interview about George Clooney, a very good American actor, years later. George Clooney gathers his friends and brings together 6 men who were by his side during his toughest times. These are his very old friends. George Clooney is a man who became famous at 42. Before that, he had no fame. He struggled for years, acted in silly series, and could never reach that fame, but perhaps he needed to mature. As a mature man, perhaps he expresses himself even better on camera, I don't know. An actor who became famous at 42 and earns a lot of money, etc. Anyway, he gathers his 6 friends years later, and he gives each of them a check, $1 million each. Look, 1 million to each of them. They are surprised. These are not poor people, by the way. They are all wealthy men. He gives 1 million each. Then he says, you deserve much more than this. But I cannot fulfill my soul without giving you anything. The man gets the situation, spiritual. I cannot fulfill my soul. He has a lot of money. You should spend this money on your children, your wives. Spend it on your lives, my brother, he says. You deserve this. You were by my side during my toughest times. You gave me $5,000 or $10,000 when needed, so I'm giving you each $1 million. And the men are really crying, feeling emotional, saying, what kind of man are you? Now don't get into the concept of goodness here. This has nothing to do with goodness. It's about understanding. He has understood life. You receive. You will open paths for others and support them both materially and spiritually. As much flow as you have, you will direct that flow. You can say, always me, let it all be mine. This is also an option. But there, you are just rambling. And since you haven't understood the test and you haven't understood life, tests keep coming from places you don't understand, and after a while, you start to struggle. You say, why is this happening to me? Because you didn't give, because you weren't generous. You took but didn't give. You took but didn't give. You always took, always tried to take. Always me. Well, there was someone close to you. They needed attention, love, or money when they came to you. You didn't give anything. You turned a blind eye to him. You turned a blind eye to this. You didn't care about anyone. You always tried to take, wanting everything to be yours. So what happened? What was the result? Terrible. The result is a catastrophe. Just like that, a terrible accident happened to you. Then you said, why is this happening? Brother, it's because you didn't give. You took but didn't give. Therefore, we need to understand the balance of giving and receiving very well. Everything in life has a counterpart, friends. For those who are famous, there is a counterpart to fame. For the wealthy, there is a counterpart to wealth. Everything has a counterpart. To perceive this counterpart well, to have a good sense, to understand well, to be able to give meaning to the events that happen in your life, asking yourself why these are happening to me. What should I do? How should I behave in this situation? It's all about internalizing these very well. Analyzing, reading, understanding, and analyzing the events that happen to you and making the necessary moves. Everything is about this. Don't forget that I love you all. See you soon.